If you're always wondering how to practice your chords, well, you're at the right place. My name is Maureen and welcome to Online Rock Lessons. If you haven't done it already, subscribe to this channel by clicking on the subscribe button just below. And I added a link in the description so you can access a bunch of free content. So make sure that you check it out. All right, let's get started. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you 4 great ways that you can practice your chords. So the first one is by using chord inversion. So let's take the C major chord. So the C major chord is 1, 3, 5. So C, E, and G. This is the root position. So we got the first here, root position. Now you can change the order of the notes, and this is where we call it chord inversion. So instead of having these notes, we can move it here. These are the same notes, but just a different order. So this is the first inversion. So the C is gonna go on the top right here. We could do the same thing again and having the second inversion and back to the root position. So this is a classical way to practice it, but it's a very simple and useful way. So you just play all the block chords just like this. And you can do it like for the whole piano or just 2 octaves. Let's do it for 2 octaves. Just like this. You go all the way up and you go down. And it forces you to see only the C major notes. So this is why it's so good. Let's do the same thing on G major. So G major chord is G, B, and D. This is the root position here. But if we do with the chord inversion, so we would go to the first inversion right here and the second inversion here, and then back to root. So for 2 octaves, and we go back. And there you go. So make sure that you practice this way with every key. Every time you learn a chord, you try to do all the chord inversion. And you're going to see this is going to help you so much to understand how the chord works. Now, the second way we're going to do today is quite the same using the chord inversion, but we're going to break the chord. What I mean is we're going to use one note after the other instead of playing it all together. So for the C major, we're going to do C, E, G, and then E, G, C. So you see what I've done here? Instead of playing all together, just break it. Just like that. And we can do as many octaves as you want. And back down. What about on G major? So same thing here. Only the note of the chord you're working on. And there. And always practice with a metronome because it gives you a better idea of your progress. So you can have like a 70 BPM for every 8 notes, for every note you're playing. And then you're going to be able to push the tempo and go faster. And you're going to be able to see how better you're getting. All right. So always practice with a metronome. Now we have a third way to practice the chords. And this is where it gets interesting because this is where we're going to use chord progression. And it sounds just like a song. So for today, I'm going to use the 1, 4, 6, 5 in C major. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, this is all the degrees from the chord, the diatonic chords. But I've done a video on chord progression. I'm going to put it just right here in the cards. So make sure you watch it if you want to have more info on the chord progression. All right, so 1, 4, 6, 5 in C major. We would have C, that is the first. F, it's the 4th. A minor is the 6th degree. And 5 would be G major. So this is our chords here. Now you can practice this with both hands playing chords, or if you want to have something more closer to what we would do in a song, you can just play root notes on the left hand, like a bass, like this. All right, the first step to do this is to practice the chord progression with only the root chords. So just like this, C, F, A minor, and G. And when you're ready, you can play these chords very easily. Now this is where it gets interesting, because we're gonna add the chord inversion we've just practiced earlier. So this is why you want to be able to do a little bit of both. So from C, if I want to go to F major, instead of jumping from one root position to another, we're going to try to find what's the chord inversion that is the closest to where I am. So from C, let's say to go to F, we could go like this. We have 2 notes to move, just like that. Now if I go to A minor, only 1 note here because we have a few common notes. So from F to A minor. And then to G, we can go down right here. So it goes like C major, F major, A minor, and G major. And what's the good thing about this is every time you need to change the chord, well, you have to think about the notes of the next chord. And this is how you're going to be able to work on this and practice your chords. You're going to be able to understand, what do I have in F major? What I have F, A, and C. And every time you're doing this, you're thinking about this. And you're finding the note that is closer to where you are. So F, A minor, and G, like this. And now the last way you can practice this, well, if we start from here, we need to transpose it. So this is really the key when you practice the chords, is to be able to do anything in any key. So you need to be practicing all the chord inversion, all the chord progression in any key. So we were in C major. Let's do the same thing in G major. So in G major, if we do the chord progression 1, 4, 6, 5, we would have G, C, E minor, and D. So that's a good way to practice it. Let's use the first inversion here. So G major, C would be here, E minor, and D major. See? So I've worked on new chords and new chord inversion. And now what about if I do the same thing in A major? So A major, we have the scale here. So the first one, the 4 is D, and then the F sharp is our 6th degree, and going to E major and back to 1. And as you can see, you can be working on your chords and it can sound just like a song, because chord progression is what we use to create songs. All right, so let's recap for the 4 ideas you have to practice your chord. So we have chord inversion, block chord, just like this. Do it in every key with a metronome. Now we can do chord inversion but broken instead. Same thing in every key with a metronome. And now we can use chord progression. So we have the 1, 4, 6, 5, for example, but there's so many chord progression that you can use. So 1, 4, 6, 5. That is the third way. And the last one is to be able to play this in every key. So this is the secret of being a piano player, is to be able to move from the C major scale to the F sharp major scale, and it doesn't make any difference. So practice this and transpose it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel for more content just like this, and visit our website at onlinerocklessons.com to see more about the courses and the memberships. So have fun with this and have a good practice.